Have you ever felt like you're fighting against the current of life, trying to bend it to your will? Like you're clutching onto outcomes so tightly that the harder you hold on, the more everything seems to fall apart? If this resonates with you, you're not alone. Meet Daniel, a young architect who had always prided himself on being in control. He meticulously planned every detail of his life, from his career trajectory to his personal relationships. At first, everything seemed perfect. Promotions came quickly, his friendships flourished, and he was engaged to someone he loved deeply. But as life threw its inevitable curveballs, Daniel's world began to crumble. A failed project at work, a falling out with his best friend, and worst of all, his engagement came to an abrupt end. Daniel was left devastated, constantly replaying every decision in his mind, trying to pinpoint where he had gone wrong. The harder he tried to fix things, the worse they seemed to get. It felt as though life was slipping further out of his control. Sound familiar? The truth is, Daniel's struggle is something many of us experience. We live in a society that glorifies achievement, control, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. But this constant striving creates an invisible weight that can leave us feeling drained, defeated, and disconnected from the joys of life. That's where Stoic philosophy enters the picture, a timeless wisdom that reminds us of a profound truth. Not everything in life needs to be forced or controlled. In fact, the key to a lighter, more meaningful life often lies in letting go. In this video, I'll guide you through 10 Stoic-inspired lessons to help you live with greater peace and purpose. These lessons won't just reduce stress and anxiety, they'll also show you how to embrace the flow of life, find joy in the smallest moments, and rediscover your inner strength. Before we dive into the first lesson, I have a challenge for you. Watch this video until the end. Reflect on what you've learned and how it applies to your life. Then, leave a comment saying, "I'm ready to let go," to share your commitment to change. Embracing the present, a new perspective. Daniel sat alone in his apartment one evening, surrounded by reminders of his old life, a calendar filled with crossed-out plans, piles of unfinished work, and photos of happier times. As he scrolled through social media, he stumbled upon a quote that stopped him in his tracks. "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Marcus Aurelius. The words struck a chord deep within him. For the first time in weeks, Daniel felt a flicker of clarity. The relentless pressure to control everything had blinded him to the simple, fleeting beauty of the present moment. This is where Daniel's journey into Stoic philosophy truly began, with a single decision: live fully in the present. The power of the present moment. Stoicism teaches us that the present is all we truly have. Yesterday is gone, and tomorrow is uncertain. Yet, so many of us spend our lives either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, missing the richness of now. Daniel realized he had been doing exactly that, his mind constantly replaying his mistakes or fearing what might come next. To shift his mindset, he started small. Each morning, instead of rushing into his day, Daniel took 5 minutes to sit by his window with a cup of coffee. He listened to the birds outside, watched the sunlight filter through the trees, and simply allowed himself to be. At first, it felt awkward. His mind resisted, pulling him back to his to-do lists and lingering anxieties. But over time, these moments became a source of peace. One evening, Daniel decided to take a walk in a nearby park. He left his phone at home and let himself observe the world around him. He noticed the way the wind rustled the leaves, the rhythm of his own footsteps, and even the laughter of children playing in the distance. These simple observations reminded him of something profound. Life is happening right now, in these small, seemingly insignificant moments. Living the lesson. Daniel didn't stop at observation. He took deliberate action to anchor himself in the present. He began practicing mindfulness through activities he already enjoyed. Cooking, for instance, became a meditative practice. Instead of rushing through the process, he paid attention to the colors of the vegetables, the sound of the knife on the cutting board, and the aromas filling the kitchen. At work, he made a conscious effort to focus on one task at a time, setting aside distractions. If his mind wandered, he gently brought it back to the task at hand, asking himself, "What can I accomplish right now?" Over time, This practice not only improved his productivity, but also reduced the overwhelming stress that had once consumed him. The shift in perspective. As Daniel grew more present, he noticed a shift in his relationships as well. When spending time with friends or family, he put his phone away and gave them his full attention. Conversations became deeper, and he found himself truly listening rather than planning what to say next. He even reconnected with his estranged best friend, apologizing sincerely for his part in their fallout. By focusing on the present rather than their past disagreements, they were able to rebuild their bond. Living in the moment also helped Daniel find gratitude. Each evening, he wrote down 3 things he appreciated about his day, big or small. Whether it was a compliment from a colleague or the taste of his favorite meal, these reflections reminded him of the abundance already present in his life. A question for you. Are you living fully in the present? Or like Daniel, do you find yourself trapped in a cycle of regrets and worries? The Stoics remind us that every moment is an opportunity, a chance to start fresh, to feel deeply, and to live meaningfully. Here's a challenge for you. Take 5 minutes today to pause and focus entirely on the present. Notice your surroundings, your breathing, and your thoughts. Reflect on what you're grateful for right now. And if you feel inspired, share your experience in the comments below. When you learn to live fully in the present, you'll discover that even the smallest moments can hold profound joy and peace. The beauty of impermanence, accepting life's flow. One morning, as Daniel sat by his window sipping coffee, he noticed something he had overlooked for weeks. The leaves on the tree outside had begun to change color. Vibrant greens had transformed into brilliant shades of orange and gold. A gust of wind sent a cascade of leaves to the ground, leaving the branches barer than before. For a moment, Daniel felt a pang of sadness. He realized that just as the tree's lush foliage was fading, so too were many parts of his life. The ambitions he had clung to, the relationships he had lost, and even the person he once thought he was, all were changing, just like the seasons. The reality of change. In Stoic philosophy, impermanence is not something to be feared but embraced. Heraclitus, a pre-Socratic philosopher often referenced by the Stoics, once said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man." This profound statement underscores the idea that life is in a constant state of flux. Daniel reflected on his own life. He had spent so much time trying to freeze moments in place, clinging to happiness and pushing away pain. But the harder he tried to control the flow, the more frustrated and disillusioned he became. What if, instead of resisting change, he learned to move with it? A lesson from nature. To practice this, Daniel returned to nature. On weekends, he started hiking trails he had never explored before. On one of these hikes, he stopped at a riverbank, mesmerized by the water flowing over the rocks. The river's journey was relentless, yet it never seemed rushed or forced. It flowed effortlessly, adapting to the obstacles in its path. Daniel realized that life was much like the river. Trying to hold on to any part of it, whether joy or sorrow, was as futile as trying to hold water in his hands. He began to ask himself, what if I allowed life to flow naturally, trusting that every experience, even the painful ones, serves a purpose? The practice of letting go. One of the first areas Daniel applied this lesson was his career. For months, he had been agonizing over a missed promotion, replaying conversations and moments that he thought had led to his failure. But after reflecting on impermanence, he chose to let go of his resentment. He shifted his focus to what he could control, improving his skills, networking, and taking on new projects. Letting go was not easy. At times, the bitterness resurfaced, but each time it did, Daniel reminded himself of the changing seasons. He journaled his feelings, acknowledging the pain without letting it define him. Slowly, the weight of disappointment began to lift, replaced by a sense of freedom. Appreciating the present. Impermanence also taught Daniel to cherish the present more deeply. Knowing that nothing lasts forever made him more grateful for the fleeting joys in his life. Whether it was sharing laughter with a friend, watching a sunset, or even the simple act of savoring a good meal. He also learned to approach challenges with a new perspective. Instead of fearing failure or loss, he saw them as temporary moments in the greater tapestry of his life. This shift in mindset gave him the courage to take risks and try new things, knowing that even setbacks would eventually pass. As Daniel embraced impermanence, his attitude began to influence those around him. His friends noticed his newfound calmness and asked him for advice during their own struggles. At work, his resilience and adaptability earned him admiration from colleagues and supervisors. Even his family commented on how much more present and patient he had become. By accepting that everything changes, Daniel not only transformed his own life, but also inspired others to do the same. A question for you. Think about your own life. Are there areas where you're resisting change or holding on to something that no longer serves you? What would it feel like to let go and embrace the natural flow of life? Here's a challenge. Over the next week, take a moment each day to reflect on something that has changed in your life. Write down what you've learned from it and how it has shaped you. If you feel comfortable, share your reflections in the comments below. Remember, impermanence is not a curse. It's a gift that reminds us to treasure each moment and trust in the unfolding of life. The art of letting go, freeing yourself from the uncontrollable. Daniel's journey toward inner peace took a pivotal turn when he encountered a book at a secondhand store. The title caught his eye, The Art of Letting Go. As he thumbed through the pages, he came across a quote by the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It was a message that resonated deeply, especially in the wake of his struggles with impermanence. Daniel decided to make letting go his next practice. He had already begun to understand that holding on to disappointments, grudges, or unrealistic expectations only created unnecessary suffering. But knowing something and acting on it are two different things. Recognizing what we can't control. The first step for Daniel was distinguishing between what he could control and what he could not. Stoicism emphasizes that our actions, thoughts, and attitudes are within our control, while external events, other people's opinions, circumstances, or outcomes are not. Daniel reflected on his relationship with his older brother, Sam. They had grown distant over the years due to misunderstandings and unspoken resentments. Despite Daniel's efforts to reconnect, Sam remained cold and aloof. This rejection hurt Daniel deeply, but he realized that he could not control Sam's feelings or actions. What he could control, however, was his response. Instead of harboring resentment or continuously trying to force a reconciliation, Daniel chose to let go of his expectations. He sent Sam a heartfelt letter expressing his desire to mend their relationship, but made peace with the possibility that Sam might not respond. By releasing his need for a specific outcome, Daniel felt a surprising sense of relief, learning to release emotional baggage. Letting go wasn't limited to relationships. Daniel also needed to release the emotional weight of past failures. He remembered a project at work where he had made a costly mistake, leading to weeks of self-doubt and anxiety. Every time he thought about it, a wave of shame washed over him. To address this, Daniel turned to a practice he had read about, visualization. He imagined his failure as a physical object, a heavy stone he had been carrying in his backpack. Each morning, he visualized himself removing the stone and placing it by the side of the road. Over time, this simple exercise helped him to stop fixating on the past and focus instead on his present opportunities. Creating space for new possibilities. As Daniel let go of what no longer served him, he began to notice a shift in his life. With less mental and emotional clutter, he had more energy and clarity to pursue meaningful goals. He started a new hobby, photography, which reignited his creativity and brought him joy. One day, while exploring the city with his camera, he met a fellow photographer named Mia. They struck up a conversation, and over time, a friendship blossomed. For Daniel, this connection felt like a reminder that letting go of the past creates space for new and unexpected opportunities, overcoming the fear of letting go. Letting go, Daniel discovered, wasn't always easy. It required confronting fears and uncertainties. What if he regretted letting go of something or someone? What if he lost part of his identity in the process? To overcome these fears, Daniel adopted a mantra inspired by another Stoic teaching. Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. This reminder helped him see that letting go wasn't about losing. It was about evolving. Every time he released something, he was making room for growth and transformation. A lesson for everyone. Think about the things you're holding on to, whether it's an old argument, a missed opportunity, or an unrealistic expectation. What would it feel like to release those burdens? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or ignoring. It means accepting reality and choosing to move forward. Daniel's journey teaches us that letting go is an act of self-compassion. It's not about weakness or giving up. It's about freeing ourselves from the chains of the past so we can fully embrace the present. Your challenge. Take a moment to identify one thing in your life that's weighing you down. It could be a toxic relationship, an unmet expectation, or a lingering regret. Write it down and then create a small ritual to symbolize letting it go. Whether it's tearing up a piece of paper, meditating on the thought, or simply saying out loud, "I release this." Share your experience in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more life-changing insights. Remember, letting go isn't just about removing. It's about making space for something better. The power of mindfulness, anchoring yourself in the present. Daniel's journey through Stoicism had led him to an important realization. Much of his anxiety and frustration came from living either in the past or the future. He would replay old conversations in his mind, wondering what he could have said differently, or worry endlessly about potential challenges that might never come to pass. Mindfulness became his next focus, a practice that Stoic philosophy regards as essential for living a fulfilled and peaceful life. Discovering the present moment. One evening, after a particularly chaotic day at work, Daniel found himself sitting on a park bench, his mind racing with worries about deadlines, emails, and unspoken tensions with a colleague. He noticed the sun setting in the distance, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. For a brief moment, everything fell silent. He took a deep breath and allowed himself to truly observe the scene, the gentle rustle of leaves, the cool breeze against his skin, the chirping of birds. For the first time in weeks, Daniel felt truly present, as though he had stepped out of the chaos and into a calm oasis. This small moment of mindfulness sparked a revelation. The present was the only time he truly had control over, and it was the one place where peace could be found. Building a daily practice. Daniel decided to incorporate mindfulness into his daily life. He started small, committing to 5 minutes of mindful breathing every morning. Sitting quietly in his living room, he focused on his breath, the sensation of air entering and leaving his body. Inevitably, his mind would wander, but instead of getting frustrated, he gently brought his focus back to his breath, repeating the process. Over time, Daniel began to extend his practice. He tried mindful walking, paying attention to the rhythm of his footsteps and the feel of the ground beneath him. Even mundane activities like washing dishes became opportunities for mindfulness, as he focused on the sensation of warm water and the sound of running water. Facing challenges mindfully. Mindfulness wasn't just about finding calm in serene moments. It became a tool for handling life's difficulties. At work, Daniel found himself in a tense meeting where a colleague criticized his ideas. In the past, he would have reacted defensively or stewed in anger afterward. But this time, he took a deep breath and silently asked himself a question inspired by Stoic wisdom. Is this within my control? Instead of lashing out, Daniel responded calmly, "I appreciate your feedback. Let's explore how we can refine these ideas together." His measured response diffused the tension and kept the conversation productive. Later, Daniel reflected on how mindfulness had helped him maintain his composure and avoid unnecessary conflict. Transforming relationships. Mindfulness also had a profound impact on Daniel's relationships. He realized that he often listened to respond rather than listening to understand. Inspired by his Stoic studies, he began practicing active listening, being fully present in conversations without interrupting or formulating his reply before the other person finished speaking. This shift was especially evident in his relationship with his partner, Emma. Previously, their arguments often escalated because Daniel would jump to conclusions or react impulsively. Now he paused before responding, giving himself time to process his emotions and empathize with Emma's perspective. Over time, their communication improved, and their bond grew stronger. The mindfulness ripple effect. As Daniel deepened his mindfulness practice, he noticed changes not only within himself but also in the people around him. His calm demeanor inspired his team at work to approach challenges more thoughtfully. Friends commented on how present and attentive he had become, and even his family noted that he seemed more at peace. One evening, Daniel led a mindfulness exercise at a community event, guiding participants to focus on their breath and release their worries. Afterward, several attendees thanked him, sharing how the exercise had brought them a sense of calm they hadn't felt in a long time. Daniel felt a profound sense of fulfillment, knowing that his personal journey was creating a positive ripple effect in the world. Mindfulness, as Daniel discovered, is not about erasing thoughts or achieving a state of perfection. It's about learning to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, anchoring yourself in the present moment. In doing so, you free yourself from the weight of the past and the uncertainty of the future, allowing peace and clarity to emerge. Ask yourself, when was the last time I truly paid attention to the present moment? Whether it's the taste of your morning coffee, the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the laughter of a loved one, mindfulness helps you savor life's simple pleasures. Your challenge: set aside 5 minutes today to practice mindfulness. Close your eyes, take deep breaths, and focus on the present. What do you hear? What do you feel? Share your experience in the comments below. Let us know how mindfulness has impacted your life, or if this is your first time trying it, what you hope to gain. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more insights into Stoic philosophy and practical wisdom. Together, let's continue to explore the path to a more meaningful and peaceful life, finding joy in life's simplest pleasures. Daniel's journey toward a Stoic-inspired life had brought him invaluable lessons, but one of the most profound realizations came when he discovered the power of simplicity. In a world obsessed with material possessions and relentless ambition, Daniel learned that joy didn't have to come from grand achievements or extravagant luxuries. Instead, it could be found in the smallest, most overlooked moments, the morning ritual. Daniel started his day differently now. Instead of reaching for his phone to check emails or scroll through social media, he would savor a quiet moment with his morning coffee. He would sit by the window, feeling the warmth of the cup in his hands and listening to the soft rustling of leaves outside. Each sip became a celebration of the present, a chance to appreciate the simple act of starting the day with calm and intention. This shift in perspective wasn't immediate. Like many, Daniel used to rush through mornings, constantly preoccupied with tasks and deadlines, but inspired by the Stoic principle of amor fati, embracing and finding beauty in what is, he began to see the morning ritual not as a chore, but as a gift. The wisdom of nature. One weekend, Daniel decided to visit a nearby park to clear his mind. He walked along the winding trails, noticing the vibrant colors of the flowers, the gentle sway of the trees, and the rhythmic chirping of birds. For the first time in years, he felt deeply connected to nature. As he sat on a wooden bench, he reflected on a quote by Marcus Aurelius: "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." The natural world, Daniel realized, was filled with wisdom and inspiration. The resilience of a tree weathering storms, the calm flow of a river, and the renewal of life with each season. All these were reminders of life's simplicity and strength. From that day forward, Daniel made it a habit to spend time outdoors, even if just for a few minutes. These moments of connection brought him immense peace and a newfound appreciation for life's simplest wonders. Letting go of excess. Another significant change came when Daniel decided to declutter his home. Inspired by Stoic teachings on living a life of virtue and moderation, he asked himself, "Do I truly need all these possessions?" He began sorting through his belongings, donating clothes he no longer wore, and letting go of items that no longer served a purpose. With each bag he gave away, Daniel felt lighter, both physically and mentally. His space became a reflection of his evolving mindset. Simple, intentional, and free from unnecessary distractions. Letting go of excess not only made his home more inviting, but also taught him a valuable lesson. Joy didn't come from owning more, it came from appreciating what he already had. This realization shifted his focus from acquisition to gratitude. Daniel's newfound perspective also transformed his relationships. Instead of planning elaborate outings or expensive dinners with friends, he suggested simple activities like cooking a meal together, playing board games, or having deep conversations over tea. These moments, stripped of pretense, became some of the most meaningful in his life. One evening, Daniel hosted a small gathering at his home. As they sat in the dim glow of candlelight, sharing stories and laughter, he realized that the true essence of connection wasn't found in extravagant gestures, but in the simple act of being present with others. The ripple effect. Daniel's embrace of simplicity began to influence those around him. His friends noticed how content and grounded he had become, and started adopting similar practices in their own lives. One of his colleagues, inspired by Daniel's calm demeanor, began bringing lunch from home and enjoying it in a quiet park rather than rushing through fast food in the office. Daniel also began sharing his experiences on social media, not as a boast, but as an invitation for others to slow down and find joy in life's simple pleasures. He posted photos of his morning coffee, a blooming flower, or a sunset, accompanied by reflections on the beauty of simplicity. The response was overwhelming. People thanked him for reminding them of the peace that could be found in everyday moments. The Stoic philosophers understood that simplicity was a pathway to true happiness. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Daniel had once been that man, constantly striving for more, thinking that success and happiness were somewhere on the horizon. But by embracing simplicity, he found that joy was already within reach, waiting in the moments he had overlooked. Ask yourself, what simple pleasures have I taken for granted? Is it the laughter of a loved one, the warmth of the sun on your face, or the satisfaction of completing a small task? Take a moment today to notice and appreciate these joys. Challenge. This week, dedicate time to savor a simple pleasure, whether it's a walk in the park, a quiet moment with a book, or a conversation with a friend. Fully immerse yourself in the experience. Share your reflections in the comments below. What did you notice? How did it make you feel? If you're ready to embrace the art of simplicity, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more insights on living a Stoic-inspired life. Together, let's rediscover the joy and beauty that lie in life's simplest moments, the art of gratitude, finding strength in adversity. Daniel's journey through the principles of Stoic philosophy had already brought him a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. But one of the most transformative lessons was the practice of gratitude. Not just for life's blessings, but also for its challenges. Gratitude, he discovered, wasn't merely about saying thank you when things were going well. It was a mindset, a way of viewing every experience, no matter how difficult, as an opportunity for growth. The unexpected storm. One late afternoon, Daniel found himself in a situation that would test his newfound philosophy. He had been eagerly preparing for a work presentation that could secure his promotion. Hours of research and rehearsals had gone into perfecting his delivery, but just minutes before the meeting, his laptop crashed, and he lost all his presentation materials. In the past, Daniel might have spiraled into frustration and despair, but this time, he paused. Taking a deep breath, he reminded himself of a principle from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Instead of panicking, Daniel decided to approach the situation with gratitude. What can this teach me? He asked himself. While the crash was inconvenient, it was also an opportunity to trust his instincts and demonstrate resilience. He walked into the meeting with no slides, no notes, just his knowledge and confidence. The result, his presentation was a success. Colleagues appreciated his authenticity and command of the subject. That day, Daniel realized that even setbacks could be gifts in disguise. Gratitude as a daily practice. Inspired by the Stoic emphasis on gratitude, Daniel began incorporating it into his daily routine. Each evening, he would write down 3 things he was grateful for, small or significant. Sometimes it was a productive day at work. Other times, it was as simple as enjoying a delicious meal or seeing a child smile in the park. This practice shifted his focus. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong or what he didn't have, Daniel started noticing the abundance in his life. It wasn't that challenges disappeared, but his perspective changed. Gratitude became his lens, allowing him to find silver linings even in tough times. Challenges. Gratitude's true power lay in its ability to transform how Daniel viewed difficulties. One of the toughest moments came when a close friend, Ben, had to cancel a long-planned hiking trip due to an unexpected family emergency. Disappointed, Daniel initially felt tempted to let frustration take over, but instead, he thought of Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Daniel reframed the situation. He felt gratitude for Ben's friendship and the many adventures they'd already shared. He used the weekend to explore a local trail alone, appreciating the solitude and quiet reflection it offered. Later, when Ben expressed guilt over the cancellation, Daniel reassured him with kindness, strengthening their bond. Lessons from the Stoics. The Stoics emphasized gratitude not just as a virtue, but as a tool for resilience. Seneca wrote, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Daniel began sharing this lesson with others. At work, when a colleague faced a challenging deadline, he encouraged them to list things they could still control or appreciate. Gratitude doesn't make the work easier, he explained, but it makes us stronger. His approach created a ripple effect, fostering a more positive and supportive environment. Gratitude in community. Daniel's practice of gratitude extended beyond himself. He started volunteering at a local food bank, where he saw people finding joy and dignity even in difficult circumstances. This experience deepened his appreciation for his own life and strengthened his commitment to helping others. It also reminded him of a core Stoic belief: happiness isn't found in wealth or comfort, but in virtue and connection. Through his actions, Daniel inspired others to adopt gratitude as a mindset. Friends and family began following his lead, sharing their own reflections and expressing appreciation more openly. The impact was profound. Relationships grew stronger and life felt richer. Your turn to practice gratitude. What are 3 things you're grateful for today? Take a moment to reflect and write them down. It could be something as simple as the warmth of the sun on your face, or as significant as the support of a loved one. By practicing gratitude daily, you'll start to see the world through a lens of abundance and possibility. Leave your reflections in the comments below. What have you discovered through the practice of gratitude? How has it changed your outlook on life? Remember to like and subscribe to this channel for more Stoic wisdom and practical tools for a fulfilling life. Together, let's continue this journey toward resilience, joy, and purpose. The gift of solitude, finding strength in quiet moments. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and a relentless push for connection, solitude is often mistaken for loneliness. For Daniel, however, embracing solitude became one of the most transformative aspects of his journey with Stoic philosophy. It wasn't about isolating himself from others, but about creating intentional space to reflect, recharge, and connect deeply with his inner self. A moment of quiet reflection. One evening, Daniel found himself walking along the beach at sunset. The waves crashed rhythmically against the shore, the sky painted in hues of gold and crimson. There were no notifications to check, no emails to respond to, and no conversations demanding his attention. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly alone, but not lonely. As he walked, he reflected on Marcus Aurelius's words, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The realization struck him that solitude wasn't something to be avoided or feared. It was an opportunity to retreat inward and find clarity. The power of solitude in everyday life. Inspired by this moment, Daniel began carving out pockets of solitude in his daily routine. In the morning, he would wake up 20 minutes earlier to meditate, sitting in silence with nothing but his thoughts. At first, it was uncomfortable. His mind raced, filled with to-do lists and worries. But with time, he learned to let these thoughts pass like clouds in the sky, focusing instead on his breath and the stillness around him. During his lunch breaks, Daniel started going for walks alone. Instead of scrolling through his phone, he observed the world around him. The trees swaying gently in the wind, the laughter of children playing in a nearby park, the scent of fresh flowers blooming. These moments became a sanctuary, a a way to ground himself amidst the chaos of life. Solitude as a tool for growth. Daniel realized that solitude wasn't just about peace, it was also a powerful tool for self-discovery and growth. By spending time alone, he could reflect on his goals, values, and actions. Was he living in alignment with the person he wanted to be? What could he improve? What was truly important to him? These questions led Daniel to journal his thoughts every evening. Writing became a form of dialogue with himself, a way to untangle complex emotions and gain insight. He found that solitude helped him better understand not only himself, but also his relationships and the world around him. Challenges of embracing solitude. Of course, the journey wasn't without challenges. Friends and colleagues often questioned Daniel's need for alone time, interpreting it as withdrawal. "Are you okay?" they would ask, concerned. But Daniel explained that solitude wasn't about escaping others. It was about showing up for himself. He learned to strike a balance. While he cherished his moments of quiet, he also made an effort to stay connected with loved ones. Solitude didn't replace his relationships. It enriched them by allowing him to bring his best, most grounded self to every interaction. The wisdom of the Stoics. The Stoic philosophers often emphasized the importance of solitude. Seneca wrote, "The greatest thing is to be self-sufficient." For Daniel, this meant cultivating a strong inner foundation that wasn't dependent on external validation or distractions. Solitude helped him build resilience, clarity, and a deeper sense of purpose. In moments of solitude, Daniel found the courage to confront his fears and insecurities. Without the noise of the world to distract him, he could face these feelings head-on, learning to accept and grow from them. Solitude became his teacher, showing him that strength doesn't come from avoiding discomfort, but from embracing it. The ripple effect of solitude. As Daniel's relationship with solitude deepened, he noticed its positive effects rippling through his life. He became more patient, more thoughtful, and more present with others. Friends and family remarked on the change, often asking him for advice on how to find similar peace in their own lives. Daniel began encouraging others to embrace moments of solitude, sharing simple practices like mindful walks, journaling, or even just sitting quietly with a cup of tea. "It's not about being alone," he would say. "It's about being with yourself." Your invitation to solitude. How often do you create space for solitude in your life? What might you discover if you spent even a few minutes each day in quiet reflection? Take a moment now to consider how you can incorporate solitude into your routine. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What does solitude mean to you? Have you found strength or clarity in quiet moments? Let's continue this conversation and inspire each other to embrace the gift of solitude, finding joy in the simple things. For much of his life, Daniel believed happiness was tied to grand achievements and milestones, landing a dream job, buying a luxurious car, or taking an exotic vacation. Yet, no matter how many goals he achieved, the satisfaction was fleeting. It wasn't until he embraced Stoic philosophy that he discovered a profound truth. Joy is not found in the extraordinary, but in the ordinary moments of life. A change in perspective. One evening, as Daniel sat on his modest balcony sipping a warm cup of tea, he noticed something he had overlooked for years. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the rooftops and trees. The chirping of birds filled the air, and a gentle breeze brushed against his skin. It was a moment of pure tranquility, and for the first time, he felt immense gratitude for something so simple. Recalling the words of Marcus Aurelius, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Daniel began to see that joy wasn't something to chase, it was something to uncover, already present in the everyday. The practice of gratitude. Daniel decided to cultivate this newfound perspective by practicing gratitude daily. Each morning, he would write down 3 simple things he appreciated: the comfort of his bed, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, or the laughter of a neighbor's child. These weren't grandiose things, but ordinary joys he had previously taken for granted. At first, it felt trivial, but as the days turned into weeks, Daniel noticed a shift in his mindset. Gratitude was no longer a practice, it became a lens through which he viewed the world. The mundane transformed into the magnificent. Raindrops on the window became a soothing symphony, a kind smile from a stranger, a reminder of humanity's warmth, the beauty of simple moments. Daniel also learned to savor moments rather than rush through them. Instead of eating breakfast while scrolling through his phone, he began to sit quietly, truly tasting each bite of his meal. Walking to the grocery store became an opportunity to observe the world. The vibrant colors of flowers blooming, the hum of the city's rhythm, the feel of sunlight on his face. These simple acts became sources of immense joy. By focusing on the present, Daniel realized that happiness didn't require extravagant experiences. It was always within reach, waiting to be noticed. Challenges of finding joy. Of course, Disney wasn't without challenges. On particularly stressful days, it was easy to fall back into old habits, complaining about traffic, worrying about future deadlines, or longing for something bigger to make him happy. But Daniel found that by returning to his gratitude practice and reminding himself of the Stoic principle of mindfulness, he could recenter his perspective. He also began to surround himself with like-minded individuals who valued simplicity. Together, they shared stories of joy found in unexpected places, the satisfaction of completing a small task, the warmth of a shared meal, or the peace of sitting in silence. The wisdom of the Stoics. The Stoics taught that happiness is not dependent on external circumstances, but on how we perceive and respond to life. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." For Daniel, this philosophy became a guiding principle. By letting go of the need for constant achievement, he found contentment in the here and now. He also discovered that joy was contagious. His newfound appreciation for life's simple pleasures began to inspire those around him. Friends who once shared his restlessness started adopting similar practices, finding their own happiness in the little things. An invitation to you. How often do you pause to appreciate the simple joys in your life? What small moments have brought you happiness today? Perhaps it's the sound of rain, the warmth of a loved one's hug, or the taste of your favorite meal. Take a moment to reflect and share your thoughts in the comments below. By sharing, you might inspire someone else to notice the beauty in their own life. The transformative power of gratitude. In a world driven by ambition and constant comparison, gratitude is often overlooked, seen as a passive act rather than the transformative force it truly is. Yet gratitude has the power to reshape how we experience life, allowing us to appreciate not just what we have, but who we are. For Daniel, embracing gratitude became the cornerstone of his journey toward inner peace and fulfillment. Daniel used to think gratitude was reserved for grand gestures, like receiving a promotion or achieving a major milestone. However, as he delved deeper into Stoic philosophy, he realized that gratitude is a mindset, not a reaction. It's not about waiting for extraordinary moments, but learning to value the ordinary. Marcus Aurelius once advised, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This idea shifted Daniel's perspective. Instead of yearning for more, he began to reflect on all that he already had. The warmth of the sun, the taste of a fresh loaf of bread, the quiet companionship of his dog. These small blessings became profound when viewed through the lens of gratitude. Daily gratitude practice. To make gratitude a habit, Daniel started a simple ritual. Each evening before bed, he would write down 3 things he was grateful for. At first, the list felt repetitive. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my job. But over time, he began to notice the subtleties of his day, the way a stranger held the door for him, the soothing sound of rain, or the satisfaction of completing a task. This practice helped Daniel see that even challenging days held hidden gifts. A tough conversation with a coworker became an opportunity to build understanding. A delayed train ride gave him time to enjoy a favorite book. By focusing on what he could be thankful for, Daniel found himself less frustrated by life's inconveniences and more attuned to its blessings. Gratitude amid challenges. Life is not without hardship, and Daniel faced his fair share of struggles. There were moments of loss, disappointment, and uncertainty that tested his resolve. During these times, gratitude became not just a comfort, but a tool for resilience. When his business faced a setback, Daniel reminded himself of the Stoic principle: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, he focused on the lessons learned and the support of his team. He expressed gratitude for the opportunity to grow and adapt, even in adversity. Gratitude also deepened his relationships. By openly appreciating the people in his life, Daniel created a ripple effect. Friends and family felt seen and valued, which strengthened their bonds. A simple thank you became a bridge to deeper connection. The ripple effect. What Daniel discovered is that gratitude is contagious. When he shared his gratitude journal with others, they began to adopt the practice themselves. His coworkers started meetings by expressing thanks for something positive that had happened that week. His family began a tradition of sharing one thing they were grateful for during dinner. These small acts created a culture of appreciation, transforming the dynamics of his workplace and home. People became more optimistic, patient, and understanding. Gratitude, it seemed, wasn't just an individual practice, it was a collective one. The legacy of gratitude. The Stoics believed that gratitude is foundational to a virtuous life. Seneca wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." For Daniel, gratitude became a compass, guiding him toward what truly mattered, not material wealth or external validation, but connection, mindfulness, and contentment. As Daniel reflected on his journey, he realized that gratitude had changed him. He no longer felt the restless drive to chase after more. Instead, he found peace in what he already had, joy in the present moment, and strength to face the future. An invitation to you. Now it's your turn. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what are you grateful for today? Is it the kindness of a friend, the beauty of a sunset, or the simple act of waking up to a new day? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your reflections might inspire someone else to embrace gratitude in their own life. And if you found value in this journey through Stoic philosophy, let us know by leaving a comment, liking this video, and sharing it with others. Remember, gratitude is not just a state of mind, it's a way of life. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Let's continue to cultivate joy, mindfulness, and meaning together. Closing note. If you're ready to live a life guided by gratitude and wisdom, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Together, we'll explore more lessons from ancient philosophy and discover how they can transform our modern lives. See you in the next video.